Good morning. Firstly, thank you very much to invite us to present some of our initial findings from Vietnam. You may see that in Vietnam, we have a population nowadays is around 96 million people. And we have around 250,000 people living with HIV. And in 1990 attack in Vietnam, 80, 70, and 85%. This slide shows how the scaling up of residency testing in Vietnam. We started in December 17 with the validation, and that was presented in first presentation today. And in June last year, we carried out residency testing for more than 800 samples stored from 3 provinces. And from February this year, we use residency testing as a routine testing in 10 provinces supported by PEPFAR. Just this month, we have already integrated the residency testing in the HIV surveillance system in 20 provinces. This slide shows the outcomes from testing of more than 800 stored samples. And we use residency testing, not viral load. And we can see that it's around 14% in Sơn La. This is a mountainous province. But it is higher, up to 21% in Thanh Hóa, that's midland, and very high in Hà Nội, a major city of Vietnam, up almost 28%. So we see that is the trend of HIV/AIDS in Vietnam is more active in the urban settings. And we also do that in the cohort of 86 stored samples of MSM in Hanoi in the year 2017. And in that, we have also the viral load confirmed the infection is up to almost 35%. And the young population, only 23% average. From February this year, we use residency testing in 10 PEPFAR supported provinces. And during this month, we have carried out more than 1,200 tests. And we have not all of those tests confirmed with the viral load, but we can the confirmation from the viral load 110, so it's around 9%. That's the risk infections. And we also analyze by different key population groups, and we see that the MSM is accounted up to 65% of all infections in those MSM cohort. And this is the intention of residency testing in national HIV/AIDS surveillance system in 20 provinces in Vietnam from last year. We can see that the MSM has a very high recent infection, up 66.3%. And very important in this slide is that we can estimate the incidence of HIV based on residency testing. And we estimate the incidence HIV among them is up to 1.7%. It's much higher than 2 other groups, like people living the liquid and the female sex workers. This is how we use the testing combined with the index testing in one district in Ho Chi Minh City. And we know that it is, the recent infection is very important to find the partners. And based on the one index case, we found 3 partners. They are negative. We successfully introduced them to PrEP. And one partner, number 4, is positive. That's long-term infection. And we introduce them to ARV and provide them with a consultation and counseling. Now, where we are going to next, that is, we also expect to have a wider scope of residency testing and integrate into the national testing algorithm. 3 things we are considering. The first is that the test should be approved by the Ministry of Health as a diagnostic test, and this is essential. And the test should meet the national requirements of Vietnam of this one. And the second is that the Ministry of Health should approve the guideline. And in order to do that, we should have some requirements on sensitivity and specificity, and also very good if we can have the recommendation WHO. And lastly is to use the nationwide at the site. And for we need to have evaluability availability of the test in the field. And very important is the competitive and regional price. So after 1 year, and we've done almost 6,000 tests the recency, and we want to conclude 3 points. The first point is that recency is very useful to help us better understanding of the HIV epidemic in terms of geographical areas, key populations. And very important is that we can estimate the incidence of HIV. Was very difficult before. The second is that the recency test, when we combine with the intake testing, that is very useful to find the partners to give interventions timely. And the last one is we want to scale up further to integrate recency testing in the national IAS testing algorithm. This takes some more time, and we hope to do that as soon as possible. Thank you.